It is the Inside Travel Talk podcast, a radio show. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, Mark and I will be talking about a 4-ship fleet of the world's largest cruise vessels from MSC, a new Royal Beach Club coming to Santorini, Greece, Viking reaches a 100-ship milestone, Jamaica's Category 5 hurricane bounce-back plans, and 3-hour lines. Yikes. Let's start the show. The Inside Travel Talk podcast, a radio show presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, contains travel deals, promotions, and offers that are time-sensitive. All offers and information were accurate when the show aired. Travel deals and offers change constantly and are capacity-controlled and subject to change without notice.
Explore your world. It's the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. Call or text the show now, 801-649-3700, 801-649-3700, and check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com. And now, here are your hosts, Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo.
To the Inside Travel Talk podcast, a radio show. Hello there. I am Patrick Wiscombe. The entire purpose of this radio show and podcast is to help you plan and book your next vacation, or just give you ideas of maybe you want to go on vacation next. And we are proudly presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, a Mark Faldmo company who is back in Salt Lake City right now, taking care of all of the engineering duties to get us on the air this week. And just a sincere thank you for taking the time to stop and listen. And this week we are talking about a 4-ship fleet, I have to say that very carefully, of the world's largest cruise vessels from MSC Cruises. Viking reaches a 100-ship milestone. And after just massive devastation on Jamaica's island, the Category 5, what was it? Was that Hurricane Aaron?
Hurricane Melissa.
Category 5 hurricane just absolutely decimated that island. But they do have some bounce back plans. So that's just a handful of the items that we're going to be talking about on today's Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show. Let's get to the travel news headlines. Let's start with the 3-hour queues. And believe it or not, this has nothing to do with the government shutdown. We're talking 3-hour queues in the EU entry and exit system. Week 1, there are only 3 countries ready, but Brussels is seeing a 3-hour line. That's crazy. And we've been talking about this entry-exit system for, it feels like 2 years at this point.
Yeah, there's 2 different parts. There's the entry-exit system, and then there's the ETIAS, Electronic Transportation Entry Authority, something like that, which is different. And they've been plagued with technical issues, so that's pushed back. But Europe did decide to go through with this entry and exit system, which is where you scan your passport, takes biometric information, fingerprint, and then when you leave, you do the same thing. You scan your fingerprint on the way out so they can keep track of who's entered and exited the EU. This launched about 3 weeks ago, but in the first 10 days, they were experiencing 3-hour lines. Luxembourg, 90-minute delays. Airports unprepared, travelers unprepared. Things just didn't work. In fact, in Prague, all of the kiosks completely failed, so they had to move everybody over to manual. And so that's what was taking long. It is getting better, and more countries are coming on, but this is just something I think the EU wanted to do. They delayed and pushed it out too soon.
And now everyone else is delayed. Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica. I mean, just dead on bullseye. Category 5 storm. I saw a report that winds did reach over 200 miles an hour, which is just crazy to me.
It is. Yeah. And just devastating for the island. But one thing where Jamaica relies so heavily on tourism, they do have plans in place, probably not for what they experienced because that was a direct hit by a huge storm, but they do plan to have full industry operation by December 15th.
Which is genuinely impressive. I said 6 weeks. That's 5 weeks from right now.
Yeah, I've seen several things. Some airports are starting to open. I've seen some hotels starting to open, and some hotels saying they're not taking any new reservations until they get a little bit more certain in their situation. But the island as a whole, for at least the tourism infrastructure, plans to be totally operational by December 15th. I love Jamaica, one of my favorite places to visit in the Caribbean. The food is good. The people are nice. It's just a great, great place to visit.
You've been to Germany and their Christmas markets. So I just want to pose the question, Nuremberg or Cologne? Which has the best Christmas market in Germany?
I thought this would be fun just a little bit before Christmas. There still is time if you want to go visit those. They did start this week, the Christmas markets.
Oh, they did.
They run through anywhere between January 1st and January 4th in most cases. But this is usually the big question, Nuremberg or Cologne. Nuremberg is the most famous and probably the largest, and it is the oldest. It's been operating for nearly 500 years. That's probably the one that I would choose if I had to choose these two. Although the cathedral Christmas market in Cologne is amazing. To be there in that setting. If you've never seen the cathedral at Cologne, it's amazing. It hasn't been cleaned, so it's black.
I thought it was just designed that way. I didn't even think about from a dirt standpoint.
Yeah, no, it's just dirty, but it fit. I mean,
it's awesome.
Not dirty in a bad way. It's an awesome thing. And one thing that I like about Christmas markets in a very loose way, I kind of compare them to like the state fairs here in the US. Really good, interesting food is, what you get at Christmas markets. So, as often does our segments turn it into food for me.
I'm hungry too.
And another one that is not often talked about in these of the best, Heidelberg. I like the Christmas market at Heidelberg because it's smaller and the setting of it in the town square is just amazing. It's a great setting. So every city in Germany has a Christmas market and they're all worth visiting. Really good way to get in and see local culture.
Let's get to the destination of the week, which is kind of broad. Some of the best places to travel in 2026. What places are on the list?
This was a list from Frommer's, which is a great travel publication and guide. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but these are the best places according to surveys in 2026. The first one on the list is Jasper in Canada. So Alberta.
Yes.
And, those Canadian Rockies are so awe-inspiring and magnificent.
We have great mountains in Utah, but there's something about the ruggedness in Canada, the Tetons. It's just a little different.
Yeah.
Very majestic.
And, one reason why this is on the list, in 2024, they had a big fire that ran right through Jasper and they're all back opened up, but they're kind of not seeing the tourism numbers, which means this is a great time to go see this area and experience it with lower travel numbers. We often talk about the Rocky Mountaineer, that usually runs from Vancouver to Jasper or Banff.
Banff is great too.
Yeah, and now they have a train that just goes between Jasper and Banff. It just stays in that area.
Yeah.
And that again is kind of due to that fire. They're trying to get tourists back in there. Since there are less tourists, they can do some of these unique things with some of these trips. The next place on the list, great place in the Pacific Ocean, is Fiji. We talk about Fiji a lot. Movies like Castaway, Blue Lagoon, TV shows like Survivor, which has been filmed there a couple of times, I believe. Fiji is just a great place to visit. Good hotels. I'm actually working on a trip for someone right now to Fiji, and they're so excited for it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the Sigatoka Riverboat Jet Safari.
Oh, did you recommend that to him?
I did.
Oh, well done.
That's great. That's something that was brought from New Zealand. and it works perfect in Fiji, where you go up the river pretty far, and then you get off and you walk into a local village that still has a chief, and you experience that Fijian culture. Fiji is a great place to visit. Another place on the list, and this one I want to visit just because of a festival they have. It's Oulu, Finland.
Did you say Oulu, Finland?
Oulu, it's Oulu.
Oh, yeah.
Finland.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a quirky little town, Arctic Circle adjacent, so not quite in the Arctic Circle. It has hosted the Air Guitar World Championship since 1996.
I would totally go do that.
So the picture they have on this article is a bunch of people air guitaring. So, so the further north you get, as we've talked about, Finland, Sweden, Norway, even in Alaska, the scenery changes and the landscape, it's almost indescribable. Every year, the EU designates 2 cities, the European capitals of culture. And this year, Oulu, Finland is one of those 2 cities, the European capital of culture for this year.
Give me 2 more places that are on the list, Mark.
Okay. Another place is Adelaide, Australia.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Most people know Sydney and Melbourne. Adelaide's a little bit out of the way. Vienna, Austria. The way I've mainly visit Vienna is on a river cruise, but I've also gone there by land, and just a really compact downtown area. Lots of culture there. To see the stallions in Vienna is something that people really want to go see. Schönbrunn Palace, which is amazing. I actually was lucky. I got invited to an event at Schönbrunn Palace, which was just a small group of people with a private concert.
Oh, that would have been cool.
So you can do things like that there, and just lots of fascinating places to visit.
Before we take a break, let's get to the travel deal of the week, which is Fiji. And we have a travel deal specifically for our listeners. And it includes, is this free airfare?
No,
or is it just the airfare?
It's an airfare special.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So right now from Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Dallas, flights to Fiji start at $798 per person.
Wow, that's good.
That's about $200 lower than normal. But if you did want to go to another place from, again, Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Dallas, connecting through Fiji, you can get to Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane for $999 per person.
Wow.
And you can get a free stopover in Fiji. So
how long is that good for?
That is good right now through the end of November. It'll probably be extended a little bit, but right now, the end of November.
Oh my goodness. Take advantage of that one.
Yeah. And then with those, bundle that with a hotel package and you can save even more.
Oh my goodness. Take advantage of that one. I'll just say, drop if you've ever wanted to go to Australia or Fiji for that matter. Get on the phone. Just get the conversation started. There's no obligation. Talk to Mark. 888-718-7717. 888-718-7717. And he will also post this on blueplanetvacations.com. Man, that's awesome. Coming up in the next segment, it is the infamous Just Cruising segment, the segment of the show that has made us famous here in the United States and around the world. We'll be talking about MSC's 4-ship fleet, the world's largest cruise vessels, and of course, we've got the cruise deal of the week with free airfare. That's next when the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show continues. Alongside Mark Faldmo, I am Patrick Wiscombe. Thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your weekend. We will be back. Give us about 60 seconds. Thanks for listening.
Taking you to destinations around the world. The Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show is presented by BluePlanetVacations.com, America's best travel advisors. Call or text the show now. 801-649-3700. 801-649-3700. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
Inside Travel Talk is brought to you by AMA Waterways. From castles and capitals to vistas and villages, visit some of Europe's most remarkable sites and cities. To set out on your own river cruise journey, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717 or blueplanetvacations.com.
Now, back to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. America's best travel advisors. Call or text the show right now. 801-649-3700. 801-649-3700. And check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com. Here's Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo.
Welcome back to the Inside Travel Talk podcast, a radio show. Hello there. My name is Patrick Wiscombe, and may I greet everyone aboard. Ahoy, mateys. This is the infamous Just Cruising segment, the segment of the show that has made us famous around the country and around the world. This week we are talking about MSC's 4-ship fleet of the world's largest cruise vessels. And of course, we've got the cruise deal of the week, Viking River Cruises deal with free airfare. We'll get to that here in just a second. But let's first get to the cruise news headlines. In fact, Mark, let's just start there. Let's start with MSC Cruises considering building a 4-ship fleet of the world's largest cruise vessels. Okay, so if that's true, the current reigning ships of gargantuan size are Icon of the Seas and currently Star of the Seas, which is Icon of the Seas Part 2. So if that's true, that's what they're aiming for, and it will probably be larger than that if this really happens.
Yeah, and so they're considering this. They're in discussions with the shipyard in Finland to construct these ships. It would by far surpass Royal Caribbean's Icon class ships in both volume, gross tonnage, and passenger capacity. Each ship is proposed to measure 365 meters in length and reach 265,000 gross tons, which exceeds Icon, which is 250,000 gross tons. That is actually one Titanic larger. That's the difference in the ship of Titanic larger from Icon to this new class.
Oh my goodness.
And we've talked about this, about MSC, and I think in 2 weeks we're going to have Laura on from MSC. Maybe she can address this as well. MSC is the only cruise line that is privately held.
Yeah.
And so they can do whatever they want. That's why you see reasonable fares, some of the lowest fares out there, because they're not beholden to a board of directors where they need to show profit. Now they are making profit, but they don't have to show it to shareholders.
That could be a serious undercutting of Royal Caribbean because they charge premium amounts of money. I won't say Disney type premium amount of money for cruises, but kind of in that range where you pay a ton for those newer, bigger ships.
If you look at the two ships that came out about the same time, the Star of the Seas and MSC's World America, I think they both came out within about 2 months of each other. World America was still a pretty hefty price tag, but it was nearly 30 to 40% less than what Royal Caribbean was charging for a brand new ship.
I think that is the competitive advantage. Now, assuming that they can deliver on an Icon of the Seas type experience for half the price, that's going to put a whale of a dent in Royal Caribbean.
We'll see where that goes. Cruise lines are always building things bigger and newer, but no one's really ever kept pace with Royal Caribbean as far as size goes.
Royal Caribbean, speaking of them, announces plans for a Royal Caribbean beach club in Santorini, Greece. I'm becoming a big fan of these beach clubs.
They kind of started with this concept at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which was their private island. They rebranded that last summer. I guess that was just a few weeks ago for last summer. But they opened up their beach club in Nassau, Bahamas. They've announced one in Mexico and then somewhere in Australia. I can't remember. In Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to Greece. It's going to be that same concept of a beach club, which if you've heard my stories of Santorini, beautiful place, but there's way too many people.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of cruise ships in there, if you can get to like the Royal Beach Club where you have a little bit more laid back experience, you can still experience and see Santorini, hopefully without the crowds.
I love these beach clubs. That might be the secret weapon in a lot of these cruise ship companies.
When Norwegian first started their private island, which was the first one ever, people said, that'll never fly. No one wants to go to a private island in the Bahamas. And everyone's putting multi-millions of dollars into their beach clubs and their private destinations because that is what people want to go see.
I'm blanking on the name of Norwegian Cruise Line's private beach. I've been there. I was there in April.
Key.
Yeah, Great Stirrup Key. They're investing millions of dollars right now for a beach club there as well. It's not going to be just the island with oceans coming in. It's going to be a full-on pool experience as well.
It is. It'll be the largest swimming pool in the Caribbean when it's done.
I love competition. It just drives everyone to get better. Speaking of reaching a milestone, Viking has reached a 100 ship fleet after naming 9 new longships. This is a big deal.
I've always watched Viking, and they never name just one ship at a time. They have a day where they name multiple ships at one time. That's just how fast river cruising is growing. Viking started in 1997 with 4 river ships. Now they just named their 100th ship, which consists of 88 river ships and 12 ocean ships. Of those ocean ships, 2 of those are expedition ships. Viking is just growing, and their CEO, Torsten, I've had dinner with him. He's a nice Norwegian man. Very, very interesting discussions with him about the growth of river cruise companies and all of that. But he says in this article, we just have to build to meet the demand.
Oh, wow.
By 2030, 4 years from now, they're expecting to add 31 new river ships. And by 2033, as many as 14 more ocean-going ships. So that is the demand that Viking has seen for ocean, and then kind of their small luxury type ocean-going ships. Celebrities are new into the market. Ama Waterways is building more ships. Avalon Waterways is building more ships. There is just a huge demand for river ships. One thing I've always liked about river cruising is you do go to these smaller towns and villages. I think with the number of river ships that are coming, they're really going to have to diversify, and we'll see lots of new and interesting ports, other smaller towns and villages that want their piece of that.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's really going to open up a lot of great ports and unique opportunities to visit Europe.
Let's get to the cruise deal of the week, which is always in this segment of the show. We are talking Viking River Cruise deal, but it includes free airfare. What are the details?
First off, we'll start. This expires November 30th.
Okay, so you got to
about
move.
3 weeks from today.
Yeah, you got to move.
It's free airfare on select sailings with reduced cabin fares, and also several sailings you can get for just a $25 per person deposit.
Really?
So the itineraries that have free airfare, and the first one is the Grand European Tour. This is a 15-day river cruise. It's the best of both worlds because you get both the Danube and the Rhine in that 15 days. Free airfare, $25 deposit, 4 countries, and the price on that starts at $44.99 for the lower season.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer, it's going to be more than that, but
Sure.
That's the lead-in price, $44.99 with the free airfare. And then the other one that I think is great is Pharaohs and Pyramids, so the Nile River.
Oh, wow.
Same thing, free airfare, $25 deposit, 12 days, 11 different tours or stops, starting at $6,000 per person. And the other one, a lot of people might not know this, but Viking does also do the Mississippi River. They have an 8-day tour with free airfare starting at $4,000.
Where do you fly into
person.
for the Mississippi River?
This
Is that in New
particular
Orleans?
cruise, it's the Mississippi Delta Explorer,
Okay.
which is New Orleans to Memphis, Tennessee. There are a few other itineraries that have that free airfare. Other itineraries like the Rhine Getaway, Danube Waltz, Romantic Danube, those all have reduced airfares. It's a great value right now to go with Viking.
That is a great deal. We kind of hit some home runs this week.
We did.
So anyone listening, any of our listeners, call Mark in the office. Just get the conversation started. There's no obligation. 888-718-7717, 888-718-7717. And he's also going to post this on blueplanetvacations.com. Which, by the way, you've been busy on the website.
I have.
You've been making some changes, so.
I have, yeah.
You can listen to this podcast, a radio show, again tomorrow morning, Sunday, right here on this radio station. And we air on all radio stations around the country starting at 11 a.m. local time. And you can listen to this show by streaming or subscribing at InsideTravelTalk.com. All podcast platform links for the show can be found at InsideTravelTalk.com. Okay, we are done. Now it's your turn to get out and travel the world while you can, because you never know what curveballs life is going to throw at you. Live your life deliberately, live your life intentionally, and a sincere thank you, really. Thank you for taking the time to stop and listen, and we hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you next Saturday.
You're listening to the Inside Travel Talk podcast and radio show with Patrick Wiscombe and Mark Faldmo, presented by BluePlanetVacations.com. America's best travel advisors. Call or text the show now. 801-649-3700. That's 801-649-3700. And check out the podcast at InsideTravelTalk.com. We'll be right back.
We will not. We're done for the week.
Yeah.
I played the wrong outro.
Yeah.
Clearly. Have a great week, everyone.
This segment of Inside Travel Talk is sponsored by Starkippers. For over 30 years, Starkippers has offered unique, authentic tall ship sailing experiences featuring creative itineraries throughout the Mediterranean, Caribbean, and Central America. To book your unique Starkipper sailing adventure, contact Blue Planet Vacations at 888-718-7717 or blueplanetvacations.com.